What's your favorite part about making a film? And do you call it a film or a movie? What's the technical
It
term
could
for
go
you?
either. It could go either way.
A flick?
I say film. I say movie. It doesn't really
Okay.
matter. I think what even in our conversation leading up to this question, I think what I originally thought intellectually, you're like, I love making movies to tell the thing that's in my heart, and of course, every movie you have to find that what you want to say in this. It's a very rare opportunity to have the microphone,
Yeah.
as you know. And when you do get that opportunity, you want to make sure you're using it for something that's good.
It's powerful and
Yes,
inspiring.
powerful,
Yeah.
exactly. But the reality too, as I get older and as I do more and more, it's really, I think it's about the people that you meet, and it's about the people that you learn about, whether it's actors learning about quirks and egos and how someone ticks and what makes you tick, what gets you to find something in a story or find something in a moment or discover something about emotion when you're dealing with a scene. It really actually is a very sort of meditative thing, because you get to explore every aspect of life that you probably would never get to experience in other ways.
Right.
And you get to be connected with people, and also your cinematographer, also your editors. You're sitting there day after day, not seeing your family or friends. You're going through ups and downs. You're going through notes. You're going through frustrations. You're going through triumphs.
Deleting stuff constantly.
Deleting
like,
things, starting back, and then going way back to the beginning. And like, maybe we were right on our first instinct. That journey, it's like giving birth every time to a new child. And it's painful.
You must be sore, man.
And it's sore, yes. And when you're doing twins, it's even
Oh,
more
man, 'cause
crazy.
you got two movies right
Yeah.
now. Wow.
But when you come out of it, you come out a different person, and you
Wow.
come out of experiences that literally you could not have experienced, or you know that could not have been possible in any other way. And you feel stronger, and you feel more connected with other people as well. And ultimately, that comes down to the reason we make movies, the reason we watch movies, is to feel connected as a community. So I think the more I go through it, that's really what drives me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Since you were 20, since your first film that was on, in theaters, or when was that first film? What year was that?
That was in 2008. So there was this period of time when, after the Steven Spielberg stuff, after getting connected to a big movie at Sony, I got connected to like 5 movies at different studios around the town, from Warner Brothers, Sony, to all these places. I actually didn't make a movie for 5 years.
Wow.
I didn't make anything for 5. I would develop those movies.
Yeah.
You work with the writers to get it into shape. It's called development hell.
It's not producing. That's
like
developing.
That's developing you're attached to direct. So when those movies get greenlit, you're the director. But as a director, that's part of your job, is to
Gotcha.
shepherd the project.
Uh-huh.
But you can shepherd something for 10 years. You can shepherd something for
And
11
not
years
go
and
out.
never go out.
Oh my goodness.
So those 5 years as a 22-year-old kid coming into this world and sort of coming in with a bang, and then actually not making a movie for
Half
5
a
years.
decade.
And every year goes by, you're like, no, this next year, we're almost there. We're like so close on this project.
You're like questioning and doubting yourself.
Absolutely.
You're like,
People are questioning you. People are like, oh, yeah, that's that kid that
5 years ago did something but
yeah.
hasn't done squat
Yeah.
or whatever. Wow.
So you feel that pressure. You feel that I went through a lot going through there, but I survived, and you persevere through that. You have great friends and great family who are there to keep you on your feet
Yeah.
during that point. And so my first movie was what happened was I got a script, and it was a direct-to-DVD movie. It was a direct-to-DVD movie sequel to a dance movie, and I said no. I was like, oh, I don't do direct-to-DVD.
But you haven't even done a movie
I haven't
yet.
done a movie yet. For some reason, I thought. So then I called my mom, and she's like, when did you become a snob?
Oh.
And I was like, "What do you mean?"
Snap.
Yeah, I know. It was a wake up call. And she said, "You say you're a storyteller, but storytellers can tell it in a commercial, a TV show, in a movie, a direct to DVD. Like, it doesn't matter if you're true,
Yeah.
and you've never had the chance to even show yourself. You're like an NBA player that got recruited on a
Sit on the
team,
bench.
but you've been sitting on the bench. So here's your 2
You're not
minutes.
even in the D League yet.
Exactly. And this maybe is the D League, and you got 2 minutes. Like, go
Yeah.
show what you can do. Prove it."
Wow.
And I realized, like, yeah, she's right. This is, I'm going to make the best damn direct-to-DVD dance movie sequel ever.
Yes.
So we went in there and said, the script sucks, but we're going to change all this, all
Mm-hmm.
this. The studio, which was Summit, Disney had distributed the feature, but Summit was doing just the direct-to-DVD. They said, yes, go ahead and do that. 2 weeks later, got a call from Disney. Oren Aviv over there said, we want to hear. We heard that John was attached. That we want to hear now what that version is. So we go in and pitch. 20 minutes later, he says we have a slot in February for you. It's going to be a feature, and your budget went from $5 million to 20.
Wow.
And and he's like, as long as you can deliver it in 8 months, 8 or 9 months. And I didn't know how long it takes to make a real movie. I said, yeah, of course. And so we were like in production 2 months later. After waiting all those years, we were now starting with no script, and I had to shoot in like 2 months and deliver a movie in those 8 months. But that's how I got my first movie, and it made over $150 million worldwide and all that stuff. So it worked out very well.
This is Step Up 2, or is it?
It was Step Up 2, The Streets, yeah.
$100 million worldwide.
$150 million worldwide.
What's a good movie make right now these days? Like, is 100 million, is that a grade? Is like the top 10%?
Well, it depends what your budget is. Our movie was $20 million. So when you
multiply that much, that's pretty good, right?
That's pretty good. Yeah, there's some marketing costs and things in there, but beyond that, and we multiplied our thing by a lot. So
it's not bad.
So it's good, and we made. I think they made like 5 more Step Up movies since then. So I think that was
amazing. So you took a chance and it paid off. It sounds like
good. And I got to show off what I did, but also learn.
Yeah,
and it was a great platform to learn how to make a studio movie, because when you make studio movies, there's other agendas. You've got to deal with a studio. You've got to deal with marketing. You've got to deal with all the things that come with it.
Right.
Because you have a responsibility too. They're putting millions and millions of dollars. Which the biggest thing I had done was like $15,000. So
right.
you actually learn how to work with a bigger crew that you can't do everything for. Before I was like editing and doing the sound and doing the thing, but
now you're directing.
At that point,
else.
you've got to just sort of like. Trust and learn how to communicate actually better. So,
wow.
Yeah.
What would you say is the movie that you grew the most during, that you were producing or directing? And what movie was that?
Well, every movie's very different. The reason I take movies is usually some sort of thing that I've never done before.
A challenge.
Yes, exactly. I think life is too short. You spend so much time on these things, and you literally don't see your regular friends.
Yeah.
The good ones.
We've been trying to do this for like 2 years. Yeah.
It's true. It's true. And you get sucked into this weird world, and so you want to make sure that it means something to you ultimately.
Not just to make money or
not just
whatever,
to make money. I mean, some people can do that. Every filmmaker again has their own journey, whether they want to make those 5 films and that's it, or they want to say that one thing and that's it, or they never want to touch a studio movie. Studio movies are not for everybody. But for me, I grew up in an environment where movies were a celebration. Movies were where we'd all go to the movies and get scared or laugh or feel something that we wanted to get out of our system. So I love the community of going to watch a movie.
Yeah.
When people would boo at the screen or cheer at the hero.
Yeah.
So those are the type of movies I love and I love to create. And so each movie I take is usually something crazy. So like Step Up to the Streets, that was really to prove myself. And I knew dancers, so that was fun to go do and learn the language of dance more than I had known, especially street dance, which I wasn't as familiar with. Met a bunch of great people. Step Up 3D, we shot in New York, so that was like a dream for any filmmaker to shoot in New York. And I had met a bunch of
This is actually
dancers.
in New York, not a Paramount
No,
fake
this
New
is
York.
like on the streets in New York. It was awesome. We shot
cool.
all around town, Washington Square Park, Times Square, Grand Central Station. We picked all the best places. So, and we have dancers after dance. We have hundreds of dancers and dancers that I met along the way that I was like, oh, that person's really interesting. I'd never seen that on film before. So we could reverse engineer some characters and stuff like that.
Cool.
But I got to learn 3D. This was before Avatar was out. And then what came out? So then Never Say Never, the documentary, which I'd never done a documentary before, and being on tour with somebody is a very different.
So 2 months
feel.
on tour?
It was like a month on. It was actually we had done some prep stuff, so I guess it was probably mounted to 2 months, but actually shooting was about a month, and that was really fun because you could be there for all the intensity, but get out before it went too crazy. And then G.I. Joe was a huge leap after that because it was a big $125 million.
The Rock was on that, right?
The Rock, Bruce Willis,
wow.
Channing Tatum was also in that. So we have a big cast.
What was that like?
It was awesome. The Rock is the coolest person.
He's one of the guys I've been trying to get on since the beginning of the show. He's one of like the 3 guys I really want to get on.
He is everything you want him to, you want your
Really?
hero to be. He is. He's so kind and badass
the
and
same time,
no
yeah.
apologies. Funny as hell.
That's awesome.
He aspires for perfection, so it makes pushes you as well. But he's like, he'll text me like, I remember when we were about to release the movie, like things like, "This is your time, John. Let's do this shit."
Wow.
Like random texts, and you're like, "Yes, yeah, we're gonna do this." So he's everything that that you think he is. That's who he truly is. I don't doubt that he's going to be president of the United States one day. Like,
Holy cow.
his ambition is big, and his heart is big, and you can feel it in everything he does.
Amazing.
And he's focused. So
that's cool. So it was $150 million.
That was a $125 million movie.
Wow.
Which is daunting, and big explosions and thousands of extras.
Wow.
And you're dealing with a franchise that's been around, so there's a lot of pressure from whether it's Hasbro or Paramount or wherever. So there's a lot of responsibility over that. Fanboys that want it a very specific way.
Sure.
So I learned a lot in that. And then we did another Justin Bieber movie, which was really fun. But I got to do his live show this time, his actual concert tour, and that was a great experience because it sort of broadened my view of like, you don't have all the control when you're doing a show because the artist is on stage and you can't edit anything. They're doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
But that was fun to work with Justin at that time, and then with Jem, we did this movie for very little. We did it with Jason Blum, who does all these horror films for like less than $5 million.
Wow.
So to do a big musical for $5 million is a challenge. But I get full creative control in it, which is really fun. So I'm sort of using all that stuff. But I got to use all my friends from film school, and we got to build something that's very personalized, and shoot in L.A. And then Now You See Me was a big daunting thing because you have a cast that is on another level. You're working with legends, Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine,
Huge.
even Jesse Eisenberg, who I really respect a lot, Mark Ruffalo. These guys are legends, if not already in the making. And Woody Harrelson, he plays twins in the movie. So there's a lot of challenges in that as well. But every single one, I think you learn about not just the process, because the trade of making movies, but you can hire a lot of people who know those trades better, and you can rely on them. But more about how I handle how you stay on your vision, or how you create a collective vision without being a committee movie. So that and how you get what you want, and how you protect the things that you need to protect, and fight the things that you need to avoid. So
How do you? I mean, so you go into every movie with your own vision. How do you enroll thousands of cast members potentially in these bigger movies in that vision, as opposed to them all saying, the big legendary actors who are like, "Oh, I want to do it this way," or "What do you think about this, John?" Or how about we add this in there?
Yeah.
How do you stay focused towards a vision with all that power and people pulling you different directions?
Yeah, I've dealt with it in different ways for different movies, and I think I'm still learning how the best way possible. You look at other leaders, and you look at people like our president, or you look at other CEOs of how they run their business. Some people do it through fear. Some people do it through communication and love. Some people do it through understand. There's so many different ways, and all are effective, to be honest. It's sort of what fits your own style and what kind of life you want to live as well. Because as a director, I could scare the shit out of people and do big tantrums and leave the room and quit and get what I want. And that would be actually really darn effective. And sometimes I do want to do that, don't get me wrong. But I don't really want to live that life.
Yeah.
I think life is bigger than those things. And, that affects your energy anyway. And I just choose not to do that. And I do think that like a computer, like a multiprocessor, as a group, as long as you're choosing the right things, there's a lot of great ideas that can be mined, and those things together have a synergy that one person could never create.
Sure.
And so I love that idea. But as I get through it, I think the most important thing I've learned about communicating the vision or getting a unified vision is literally just one by one. Like when it's too daunting to think like, oh, I need to make sure everybody we have that scene in the right place. I need to like blast out this email that like cuts down their ideas and gets to the vision. It's literally like
It's one by one
sitting
conversation.
down, talking to someone, looking them in the eye and saying, let me understand your concerns here. Most people have concerns for the right reasons. They may not have the right answer, and you may not have the right answer. But as long as you have the same goal of trying to fix this concern of like, I'm just not feeling this character. Some person could say, well, can you cut this scene? I think you listen to more of the note of, oh, what does it mean that they don't feel this character, which means they actually don't care about they don't know what they want in this movie, which means it's not about that scene, it's about 2 scenes before that. And so by communicating with that actor, it's like, you know what, I think it's actually this point in the scene where you open your diary and we see exactly what you want. So by this point later, we'll be rooting for you instead of not knowing why you even want that thing. And I think it's a much more effective way. It takes a lot more time and a lot more energy and a lot more back and forth, but it's a much more, I think, healthier way.
Sure.
But also the process of finding it makes you connect with that actor, with that producer, with the studio much more. And it is a harder process.
Much
and
harder
sometimes
than just saying, suck it up, do your job, let's go.
Yes.
Right?
I always say I would make movies for free. If you gave me a camera and actors, like, let's go. I'll do it all day long. I can eat ramen all day long. It doesn't matter. What I get paid for is dealing with the politics and doing that job, which is also part of storytelling. It's also a part about understanding why you want to tell this story or why someone else wants to tell. Everyone came to this story for a different reason. And by understanding the purpose that everyone came here for, you may not be able to fulfill that for every single person, but you can find your balance of how you want to fulfill those things. And maybe they have a purpose that is actually bigger than yours that you jump on.
If you want more greatness in your life, then you got to check out this video right here.
Somehow, I didn't send it to Steven Spielberg. I didn't look for that. It somehow ended up on his desk, and I just one day got a call from my agent who said, rumor has it that Steven Spielberg has seen your short and